was a smaller group of DEFCON, which is DC 6332. So it was founded back in 2005-2004. Then we decided to come up with a bigger conference, which is run by the group.
So usually, what are the topics na related, I mean, on the RootCon? These are like ethical hacking or just what? Security?
Actually, RootCon is it's actually we're more diverse. We tackle topics from research to management level topics to ilan security exploits. So it's a wide range of topics, but it depends on the years or the RootCon team. It all depends on the what's new in the industry. We try to update everyone's the attendees.
And just to add to what Sherwin mentioned, we're promoting as well the hacker culture here in the Philippines. Like we're making awareness among the community.
You know, and I think one of the things that has to be clear is when you say hacking conference, it's like there's a lot of negative connotations in the press about hacking. It's like I always try to equate it to this. When you're like saying ethical hacking, that's like, do you go to an ethical doctor or do you go to a doctor?
Oh boy.
It's like, exactly. So it's like, the way I look at it is like, if a banker gets arrested for embezzling money or doing money laundering, he's not a black hat banker and then all the other bankers are white hat bankers. He's a criminal. So that's the same thing with the hacking conference. Hacking is not something that's bad or shady or anything like that. It's good. It's like, it's creativity. It's looking at problems and trying to find different ways to fix them. When criminals use the tools that hackers create and the methodologies that hackers have created, they're still criminals. They're not hackers. They're just criminals using the tools that hackers have created. And hackers are helping solve those problems by finding ways to secure the tools, securing websites. And that's the main function of conferences like this, that RootCon is doing a great service to the Philippine community by inviting these people to do this research to show where vulnerabilities are to help businesses fix them and become better secured. So that's one of the main reasons why I'm here, is because of this kind of community and this kind of effort to actually make the Philippines and this region secure. It's like with hackers.
Jason, what's your initial impressions regarding the hacking community here compared to
I love it. It's like the one, I've gone to over 40 something countries. It's like around the world, and the one thing that I will tell you that the best part and the most amazing part is there's no difference. It's like there's no, it's a community. It's like it's everybody's got that same kind of spirit, the same kind of adventure. And as soon as I got here, I just loved the vibe. It's like, it's a really great atmosphere here. You've got kids that are just coming out of college or high school. It's like they're trying to get involved in information security. You've got professionals. You've got law enforcement. You've got just regular hackers. You've got security professionals. You've got so many diverse people here meeting together, like on neutral ground, to share information and to share knowledge. And that's what it's about. And to party, of course. Can't forget that.
Yep. When the conference kicked off, it felt like it's the golden age of hacking our field.
Right.
Capturing that is amazing.
What do you think are the challenges facing the hacking community? Not just for the Philippines, but in general.
The biggest danger facing the hacking community is what it is and its reputation. It's like there's an old saying that I always say. It's like, what people don't understand, they fear, and what they fear, they try to destroy. It's like, and I think
fear of the unknown.
The fear of, exactly. And so I think it's one of our biggest problems, is that hacking is so unknown. It's like, and it's turned into like a mystical art. It's like, it's like, oh my gosh, they're hacked. You go to every TV show, it's like, ooh, okay, I hacked the mainframe.
There's a negative notion with the word hacking.
Yes.
Yeah, especially here in the Philippines.
And that's one of the things I'd like to change and stuff. You know, it's like I was saying, it's like, if I rob you with a gun, does that make me a gun supporter or a gunsmith? No, I'm using the tool that someone else created. It's like to commit crime. It's like criminals have found out that it is easier to commit crime with a computer than a gun. They don't even have to leave their home. You know, they can play video games while they're doing it. It's like, so that doesn't make them a hacker. That doesn't make them even a really professional criminal. It's the tools are that easy. The program that you use at home to check on your thermostat or to make sure that your video games or playing Farmville on Facebook, that ease of use has transferred over to the criminal world. It's like, it doesn't make them hackers. It's just they found tools that'll help them commit crime better. And it's easier than using a gun. So hackers should never be related to that. Thomas Edison, it's like Leonardo da Vinci, Alan Turing, Tesla, Nikola Tesla, more than Edison for sure. All of them are hackers. It's like that's hacking. It's like finding a different way to do something, finding a different way to create something. Yeah, exactly. That's hacking. It's like, and that's the spirit that's here at RootCon. It's like how we've got problems. How do we solve them? It's like the problems that we're facing in the coming years is like are going to be solved not by just regular groupthink and politicians. It's going to be hackers. It's going to be people who are thinking outside the box, saying we need to solve these problems and we need to find a good way to do it. The penicillin was a random accident with a guy with the orange just going, oh, that's how that created. Let's figure it out, and that created that medical breakthrough. So it's like you never know where that one breakthrough is going to happen, but it's going to be by someone experimenting. It's going to be by someone looking and trying to test what the boundaries are.
We love the quote that you mentioned in that video, like hackers are not synonymous to criminals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Get more innovation out of, that's funny.
Yeah,
Than out of
It's like
the Eureka.
there's a big difference between hacking and cracking.
Definitely.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. With RootCon11, what makes RootCon11 different from other hackathons that's happening here in the Philippines?
I think here in the Philippines, we adapted our culture from DEF CON. So we make sure our talks are passed through the call for papers, the review board.
And screen.
Yep, it's screened. We just don't accept any talks. And what else?
I think basically RootCon is our second Christmas. It's a Christmas for hackers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Christmas for hacker here in the Philippines, but we treat DEF CON as a mecca for hackers. So
Yeah.
Have to make
it's
the
a binding
pilgrimage.
of community, actually.
And just to add, RootCon is a neutral ground in each discipline. Either you're black hat, white, or gray. Everyone is welcome.
So basically, this is not just a security conference. It's some sort of, thinking out of the box, disrupting.
It's a
yeah,
celebration of our culture.
Right, and it's also the collaboration you get off the stage. It's like I tell people my least amount of return on investment. My least moment is that 1 hour that I'm on stage, because all I'm doing is just talking. It's like for an hour. As soon as I get off that stage, I'm interacting with people, I'm networking with people, I'm meeting other people. People are coming up, it's like, what you just said there, I had this other project that I had thought of, let's collaborate on that. So it's like, you don't know what kind of projects are going to spurn from just two people meeting at a party tonight that were like on the same kind of field and had the same kind of interest, that had never met before, but they met here at RootCon because they had that same interest and that same passion. So that's one of the key things, is you get that networking and that collaboration effort. And it's okay to do it online, and a lot of our lives, it's like with hackers are online. It's like, spend a lot of the time on the computer. But nothing beats that human interaction where it's like, I can verify you 100%. I know exactly who you are. I've met you. I've had drinks with you. I trust you more than just some anonymous name on the internet, because they say, there's a joke I put in my book saying on the internet, it's like guys are guys, girls are guys, and 14-year-olds are FBI agents. So it's like, so you just never trust who's online. But when you're at RootCon, you actually get to interact. You actually get to see these people, and you get to know, okay, this person's cool. I hung out with them.
So you also get to know them a little bit more.
Exactly. So it's like, and once again, it's that network collaboration of like meeting other people that have the same kind of interest. So it's like you both go to the same talk. You've never met the person sitting next to you at the table, but you are both like taking the same kind of notes. You're like, are you working on this kind of project? It's like, yeah. It's like, and now you've got another thing going on, another project happening. And it's like, and that's the beauty of it.
What are your efforts in educating the not so techy community regarding the word or the term hacking?
Right.
For them to understand more. What are your moves?
I actually did a whole talk that DEF CON 22 called Around the World in 80 Cons, where I talked about the hacking culture and what it was about. I've done countless interviews. Every time I've always mentioned about it. It's not going to be something that we can change overnight.
Yeah.
It's like, but it's also, and people call me Don Quixote because I keep tilting at this windmill. But it's like I'm never going to stop. It's like because it's important for people to understand that. But I think one of the key things is just communication. It's like getting people to actually, like you guys, to report that information, to report that side of it. It's like, it's very sensationalist to say, you know, hackers broke into a database like Equifax, you know, it's like hackers didn't break into it, criminals broke into it. It's like, and it could have actually been government people break into it. So you don't know who broke into it. It's like, there was no hackers that broke into the nuclear centrifuge in Iran. It's like, those weren't hackers, those were government agents doing that. It's like, we're not gonna say what government because they don't like me that much anyway right now.
Let's stay away from that.
Exactly. But it's like, but that's the whole point. It's like, those weren't hackers. It's like, but it was hacking like related activity.
How about the local guys? Do you have any efforts in educating our people here regarding the hacking community?
Doing this annual conference, we have this advocacy as we're doing campus tours. Like, for example, we just went to Bulacan State University, Mapua, and so on, Lasal, and doing hackathons there, like doing CTF, just promoting the food.
Are you also behind the Angel Hack, or
Sorry?
it is a different team? The one handling Angel Hack, same team.
Hack?
Angel Hack.
Angel Hack?
Oh,
No.
it's a different team.
We're not doing anything illegal.
No, and the other thing is one of the things that DEF CON Groups is actually starting an initiative, which I'm sure they will help take up because they're already starting it, is that we're creating a curriculum for hackers, local hackers, to team up with law enforcement in the local areas and have the local law enforcement people actually introduce them to the university or to the high school or grade school and say, hey, we have actual hackers that know about online security that can come and teach your kids about how to stay safe online, how to make sure they're using the proper passwords, how they're making sure they, when they're being contacted by strangers online, and how to protect themselves, and create that kind of initiative. It's like, if we're doing this in the US, we're doing this in China, it's like we're doing this in a lot of different countries where you're going to see hackers actually involved with law enforcement to help educate children and help educate the school systems on better online security.
Melvin and I are working with the Armed Forces of the Philippines. We've been teaching digital media and security. If you will be the one to speak in front of the officers of the Armed Forces,
Right.
what would you tell them for them to appreciate this kind of technology?
Thanks.
Well, actually, it depends on the need of the organization. So there should be a talk between the RootCon and the AFP, if you're preparing for AFP, to come up with a good topic or a strategy regarding that. And I think to add up with Jason's comment earlier, RootCon is also coining, I don't know if we can actually publish that, but we're coining RootCon Kids before, and it's being,
very cool.
it's being crafted. It's not yet available, but we're actually, Dax is much preparing the RootCon Kids, and it will be probably available soon. So based on that, you can that can be also with RootCons with collaboration with the AFPs.
One of the key things that you see is that if a police officer goes into an elementary school and tries to start talking to them about online security, it's like whatever. It's like, it's like they're very stoic. They're very like, this is the information. This is how you stay safe. It's like a hacker comes in, the kids are more engaged because it's like, oh, it's a hacker. It's like, it's like they come in with the hoodie and they're like, kids, this is how they're coming after you. It's like, and it's just a different vibe. And it's like, and so this helps the children, it helps law enforcement, it helps the school, it helps everybody. It's like, it helps change the image of what the hackers are. It's like, so you actually get to hear from the hackers. It's like, and it helps law enforcement because no one wants to listen to them talking a long time on subjects that they're not very familiar with it sometimes. It's like, so no disrespect to law enforcement, good guys. It's like, but it's that kind of communication that is vital for kids to actually understand the information and take it to heart and listen to it. It's like, because it's coming straight from the hackers.
Jason, can hacking be a full-time profession? I mean, can you actually live while...
I live very well. In the U.S., there is a negative unemployment for information security and hacking. It's like, I mean,
What do you mean negative? What do you mean negative?
Oh, that
There's
means
more openings than people who can do it.
yeah, they don't have enough people to actually hire.
You want to shift career?
Well, and that's the beauty of it too. It's like, I'm a high school dropout. I used to live behind a dumpster. It's like, and I started doing this. I have no college degree, but 2 of my books are taught in universities now. It's like, so it's like, I mean, that's where I started from. I was doing physical security before I got into computer IT support, and then got into information security. Wow. So there's no date of when, like, oh, when do you start this? I didn't start information security till I was around 30. It's like when I got into the information security field. It's like I was just doing IT support. So there's no age limit. The best thing about hacking more than anything else is I could care less what God you pray to, or if you don't pray to a God. I don't care what color you are, I don't care what gender you are, who you love, doesn't matter. What do you know? What can you teach me? What can I teach you? That's what it is about hacking. It's like one of the worst things that have happened to like a lot of stuff on social media.
It goes beyond any barriers.
Exactly. And that when you're online and when you're on the computer, it's like you're looking at a person not based on their appearance, but based on their thoughts. It's like there's nothing more truer than that. It's like you're looking at that screen. Okay. Okay. Oh.
Yeah, but I'd like to know the thoughts of probably Accenture. I mean, what do you intend to gain from events like this?
So, actually, for RootCon, at least for me, when I started security, that was almost 18 years ago. At that time, there was very, 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 very few of us doing reverse engineering for malware. That's why I was thinking, if I continue this track, what will be my next job? Because security here in the Philippines is non-existent during those times.
Okay.
Year 2000. So now I'm very, very happy that we have RootCon, because at that time, when I talk to someone, it's only a few of us. I talk to 10, 20 people, that's it. And we don't know who are the other hackers or
If there are
security
any.
guys. We don't know. And if you say security, what they would tell you is, your security, what do you do? I'm from compliance, risk management. So it's not really, I mean, it's part of security, but it's different from what we do as hacking, right? Because in hacking, we need to understand how the malware works, how everything works end to end. So, but during those times, when you say security, you're risk manager. So it's non-technical. So that's why for RootCon, when they started this kind of event, even the other even other organizations, it's a way for us to know the different people. Right now, most of the people here in RootCon, I know them because they're also from Trend Micro. So, I mean, it's a small community, and it helps us. Let's say we need to do, we need help from someone. I know someone can connect us with law enforcement. I'll just call, hey Ryan, can you help me with this? So it's a small community, it's growing bigger, and it's like a support group for all of us.
So kahit pala, even if you're a big company, I mean a giant, for that matter, you still want to know the mindset of these hackers.
Yes, because definitely there's a scarcity here in the, like what Jason said, diba? Yung the talent is very, very few. I mean, who knows how to reverse engineer a malware? They can tell you, oh, I know compliance, I know how to do this, I know you need to follow this policy. But to really dissect and to catch your cyber criminals, how do you do it?
You have to talk to that to the hackers.
Like, there's a different technique.
I got hired from RootCon. Dax hired me from RootCon. So
Did the cybercrime division of the PNP already approach you to ask help? Not yet.
Actually, we've been waiting
You
for
work with them.
We'll be talking soon about it. Anyway, we might be able to help them get or talk to you, because people from the PNP and the AFA really needs these people. They really need you.
I think the challenge.
Yeah, actually, we've been waiting for them. We just don't want to step on someone's toe when, you know, when someone's there trying to figure out their information. So we don't want to step on their toes. So we're waiting for them.
But actually, to add up to the topic, enterprise now, like my organization, we're utilizing the ability of a hacker. Actually, it's more from a traditional security perspective, wherein you deploy endpoint security, network security, firewall. We actually now use hacker mindset framework to actually make it more proactive. It's better for us that we do our own vulnerability assessment and we do our own penetration testing, and hoping that we find those critical endpoints before the hackers or the black hat do, and then do something about it. It's more of a proactive measure on our part, specifically on information security.
Actually, that's the problem right now here in the Philippines. They're not security conscious. So, like for example, when you talk to someone, I talk to banks here in the Philippines. They just do, let's say, they implement ArcSight for monitoring, and I ask them why. Because the Banco Central told us we need to do something, do a monitoring. They just do it for compliance, not for the sake of security.
And one of the other things is, and you brought up a good point, is that I started out in the defensive side doing regular information security. I didn't really start doing really better at defense until I started learning how to break things. It's like you have to have that also. Locks do not keep out bad guys; they keep out honest people. It's like the lock is just to let that break, because when you can test with lock picks, when you can test the integrity of the lock, that's when you know if it's secure or not. So you need people that can look at your infrastructure, look at your website and say, here's the points that are wrong with it. This is the reason why it needs to be secured. And people hire me, and I tell them, it's like they hire me to be the bad guy before the real bad guy shows up. Because the only thing that I do differently than an attacker is I give you a report so you can fix it. It's like you're being attacked right now. It's like you're constantly being attacked. You're getting a pin test. You're just not getting a report from it. It's like they're not doing that. So you have to make sure that you've got people that can tell you what your flaws are, what your failings are, so you can get them fixed before you lose your information or you lose your data or your company from it.
Well, if you have something to say, Jason, to the young Filipino hackers in the audience, what would be your main message?
It's like carry on. It's like I mean, this is a great conference. I was so surprised. It's like when I got here, it's like very warm, very friendly. It's like very inviting, but not just more of that. It's just the general happiness of it. It's like, you know, you're seeing people out there. If you just go into the conference, to seeing people talking and smiling, interacting. I mean, I'm sure the free beer helps, but it's like, there's a lot of great community there. There's a lot of great networking there, and it's like I really love it. It's like this is the kind of cons that I like going to. It's like I like going and interacting and meeting new people, and especially with the same kind of passion and understanding of what needs to be done. So it's like it's great hanging out with hackers no matter where I'm at. So it's always fun.
I think sorry. Because if you say hacking, it creates power for you to break something. You have the power to, like, if this is like the government website and you have the power to break into it. But kasi how would a person like how about a youth like me, if I have this freedom, what can how should I think in a way to restrict myself from going overboard of hacking? Because this is my first time being in this kind of thing. But then I believe there's this kind of the white hat, the black and gray. So yeah, I presume that the white hat is like the good hacking, right? So yeah, how can the person that is new in this kind of things, how can that person restrict himself to know until where he should go?
It's very simple. The only difference between a regular hacker and a criminal is one thing: permission. Do you have permission to go onto that site and try to actually break it? If you don't have permission, you don't do it. It's like there are a lot of going on right now is a CTF, a capture the flag. So if you want to learn how to break things, they have given you a whole environment to break. They've given you a whole thing so you can learn and practice your skills and learn and get prizes for it and get rewarded for it. That's how you do it legally. That's how you do it the right way. There's a lot of labs online. There's a lot of simulated websites online that are put there specifically for people to try to break in and try to test. There is no reason why a person who is trying to learn to be a hacker or learn hacking skills has to do something illegal. It's like there are too many resources online for them to do that the legal and the right way. There are online CTFs. There are conferences like RootCon that are giving you an environment to test your skills. So there is no reason for you to commit a crime. It's like, and that's what it is. Once again, I don't believe in hats. It's like you're a hacker or you're a criminal. It's like, and there are some, criminals that are hackers. It's like, and there's some hackers that are criminals. But the majority of online crime is being done by people who have downloaded the toolkit, watched a YouTube video on how to operate it, and then started committing crime. It's like that does not make you a hacker.
Tsaka Tony, are you familiar with the cybercrime prevention law here in the Philippines? Yeah. So if you read through it, as long as you don't commit any of the offense in there, white hat ka. You're good. You're good.
They already need to revise it.
They already have the implementing rules and regulations. So it's much clearer now.
I think one more also to add to Jason's topic, what you said. One thing that we lack here in the Philippines is the responsible disclosure. So a lot of government websites, so you just pass through there, you saw a vulnerability. So we should have like a responsible disclosure implemented here in the Philippines. So actually here in the Philippines, if you're gonna report a vulnerability on a government website, they're just gonna back to you.
Can you define what responsible disclosure is?
It's just like you found a vulnerability on a certain website, you need to report that one.
But more importantly, you need to be able to report it without being arrested for it.
Yeah.
It's like you need to be able to say,
or being sued.
Yeah, it's
exactly.
Like to your website, it's like I was looking through and testing different tools or going and browsing and I noticed there was a flaw in your website on this.
Oh.
I didn't steal any of your data. I didn't destroy or damage any of your property, but I noticed that there's a vulnerability and someone can do it. The response to that should not be, oh, thank you for letting us know, we'll send the police to your door right away.
Well, normally they send the police first.
So it's like, and there was actually one where a guy did that. He showed a vulnerability. It's like he didn't do any damage, didn't do any, but he was arrested for it. And it's like, and that's not the proper response, because then all you're going to have is people still finding this and not just telling you about it.
Exactly.
And you're not going to find out until you go and open up your military website, it's a page, and someone's got a big flag of like Turkey or something on there saying, haha, hacked by Turkey. It's like, and that's happened to quite a few websites in a lot of this region and stuff. So it's like, that's a big issue. It's like, so you need to be able to say, if you don't do any damage, if you're not trying to steal or cause damage, and you tell us within this amount of time of finding it, we're not, no harm, no foul. We're not going to arrest you. We're not going to, and we'll even give you credit for the fix. It's like, give them that, because most of the hackers want and are happy with recognition. Just say, hey, look, I did a good job. It's like, I found this vulnerability, I found this bug. It's like, and they don't want the recognition from, the newspaper saying, 3 arrested, and it's like an arrest. That's not the kind of recognition they want. So, that's responsible disclosure that has to happen. It's like you've got to be able to willing to listen to constructive criticism, to listen to someone saying there's a flaw. It's like, and that's one of the biggest problems a lot of corporations have is they don't want to admit that there's a mistake. It's like they don't want to admit that there's a flaw. It's like a hacker, there is no hacker in the world, okay, that has created a vulnerability on a company's website or a company's product. Never in the history of it. What they've done is they've discovered a vulnerability that was already there. They discovered a flaw that was already there. It's like they didn't make that flaw. They just discovered it. That's one of the key things. People look at hackers like, oh, you're breaking all these things. No, we're showing you where it's broken. That was broken before we got there. No one just knew about it, but we found it. And now because we found it, you're able to fix it. It's like, and that's the key thing.
But I don't think there's any law or any regulation whatsoever that would, make you liable if you just inform them that there's a vulnerability or flaw in their system, right? And why would they send a police or?
Oh, trust me. It's like, that is always the default answer. It's like, there may not be any law. It's like, but having a law has never stopped someone from trying to threaten someone for finding a flaw or finding a vulnerability. That has never stopped anybody. And that is not a Philippines thing. That is a human thing.
Really?
Yes. It's like, the immediate response is when someone discovers, hey, oh, by the way, you know, if I go to you and I say, oh, by the way, you mismatched your buttons on your shirt, it's like, you'll go like, okay, thanks for letting me know. But if I go and say, hey, you left your credit card out here, and it's like, I can find your credit card information, you're a thief, it's like, you're trying to steal from me, it's like, I'm going to have to report you. No, I'm just telling you this information so you know about it. It's like, one you think is helpful because it's just a natural mistake. The other one makes the company feel bad. It makes them look bad. It impacts their bottom line. So they have to be vigorous in the reporting to say, oh, no, it wasn't our fault. It was this hacker that did it. Yeah. You know, Target was like the Target retail company in the U.S., one of the biggest breaches in history. Horrible security. Well, actually, even one that's even worse is like Sony. There's like, Sony was like, got to be one of the worst. How do you miss 1.3 terabytes leaving your network? It's like, I mean, seriously, their security was non-existent. They were getting popped with SQL injection exploits in 2005, and that should just make you feel sad. You don't have to know what that is. It should make you feel sad. It's like, that's bad security. That's not vulnerabilities. That's not hackers hacking or criminals going after. That's just really bad security. And they should feel bad about it. It's like, but they wanted to blame it on the attackers.
You understand?
And you know, there's this lovely set of circumstances where here in the Philippines, where the laws regarding cybercrime are still in the process of maturing, that you have an advantage of learning from where the United States screwed up. We've got this lovely law, the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. And even if my company says, you know what, if you find a vulnerability in our products, you report it to us, you keep it confidential until we fix it, and then, you know, we'll put out a press release thanking you for it. Even if, you know, it's the things we own as a company and you hackers stumbled across it and you followed the agreement, you know, a prosecutor could decide, well, you're in criminal violation of the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, and it doesn't matter if the company was okay with it. We're going to try and put you in prison.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than politicians thinking that they know how to regulate and create law.
Well, it's for the children.
Well, see, it's one of the things. It's the Patriot Act. You know, right after 9/11, they passed the Patriot Act because terrorism. You have to fight terrorism. Do you know what that law is being used for more than anything else now?
What?
Drug enforcement. Has zero to do with
anti-tax evasion.
Yeah, that's but it's like has zero to do with what that law was for. It's like, and that's the problem with laws that are implemented without actual knowledge of what they're trying to make laws for. And the environment has changed. It's like I do not use horse and carriage regulations and laws that were really great in the 1800s about how you ride a horse down in the town and try to equate that to car traffic laws, but that's what we're doing with computers. It's like we're using
Integrated.
Thank you. It's like I'm from Texas. My English isn't that good. It's like so. It's like we're using those kind of old style thinking and trying to in technology. Look, what happened back in the 1970s and the 1980s when these laws were coming out? It's like this is a totally different world now. It's like we've got satellite internet, we've got video conferencing, we've got like all the social media, all these different things that weren't even thought of back then. And it's like, and we're trying to put those laws that were used for those technologies and try to make it equate to this. And that's the problem. It's like we have to get politicians to understand. And this is not making fun of politicians. It's like that's one of the other big things. It's like they're not stupid. It's like they know how to do their things and they're familiar. And it's just like with executives, they're not stupid. They know how to run businesses. But we need to do a better job of educating them on the issues that are facing the real world technology and the internet today. So, but we can't do that. The politicians have to ask us. We can't go to the politician because they're not going to listen that way. We have to get it to where the politicians are willing to say, we need to understand what this is and the implication of creating this law. And until that happens, you're still going to have really stupid laws.
I have a question, and probably the local guys can also answer, because I know of one case where this IT guy, and actually he's a tech editor, si Archa Maniego. He made a vulnerability test on the side of a competing website, which is the Inquirer. I mean, it's a competing website of another publication. This guy is working for a newspaper called Manila Bulletin, right. And he performed vulnerability tests on the website of the competing website. Right. And he was sued. Yes, and he was sued for that. And then his defense was that I was just informing you. I was just looking for some holes in your system, and I found one, and then I reported it to you, and then now you're suing me. That's what his defense. But he was sued nonetheless, and then but they reached a compromise and they settled. So my question is now, can you really spot or find the holes or the vulnerabilities without performing those so-called tests? No,
without testing.
No. Yes,
but that's the tricky part, you know.
Because if you do that, otherwise you'll open up yourself for a suit, a case.
Especially that they're from competing. It's like
that's a factor, no?
Yeah, that's how you say fuck you without putting the hands up. Like
I would like to do real world examples. It's like there's one thing where if you're hired to be someone to do the neighborhood watch, and so what your job is, and all the neighbors know that you're going to go around and check their houses to make sure they're secure, that's one thing. It's like that's known, you've got permission. It's another thing to go through a neighborhood and to jiggle the doorknobs on everybody's houses and say, oh no, I'm just checking to make sure you were secure. I'm just making sure that you locked your doors. You may have forgotten to lock your doors. That you didn't do anything wrong. It's like technically, but what were you doing jiggling people's doorknobs at 3 o'clock in the morning? You know, it's like that's
not a whole legit. Different thing to be going around with a pick gun and trying to pop every door as you go by.
And that's totally bad. So so it's like that's the whole thing. It's like once again, it's all about permission. It's like there's ways to do that where you can say, hey, I'm looking for different threats. Or when you do scans, you can scan the whole internet, and sometimes you'll find vulnerabilities. But actually targeting another company and saying, I'm looking for vulnerability on the side,
that's something else.
It usually helps to tell them firsthand. It's like, hey, I want to just look to see what you have. To me, that looks like corporate espionage. That's just like someone doing something sketchy to compete.
Can we run a test on newsbites.ph?
But I promise you, if you find me at 3 o'clock in front of your door and stuff, jiggling, you're not going to think nice things about me. It's like
maybe getting a knife instead.
I got a fucking gun.
But actually, to add up to that, if you're familiar with RA 101/75, under
cybercrime law.
Yeah, cybercrime law. One of the punishable by law is unauthorized access to device. So basically, testing the device
Without permission.
without permission is unauthorized. That makes you liable to that.
Okay, that's clear. Okay, thank you.
Pero the problem is this publicly accessible, di ba?
Yes, but
It's not really unauthorized.
it is still unauthorized because you don't have permission. By going into, it's not. I mean, for me, it's not the same as looking at their content and looking at vulnerabilities. It's magkaiba yun, yeah. And even within the organization, if you're working for an enterprise, you cannot actually do penetration testing within your organization. You have to do some documentation on why do you need to do this and what are the consequences of doing this and what do you want to gain out of this activity.
Yeah. And there's a huge bit of difference between, I want to go look for vulnerabilities in an ATM, so let's go to the one in the lobby. No, you go and buy one, it's yours, and then you do the things.
So that's the thing is, it's probably what he've done is copy the whole site, make it on his own virtual machine, and then he tested on his.
That's a VN niya.
But it would be his. It's still the same without permission, so it's unauthorized. But in reality, when you have permission, you don't do it on production. You have to do it on isolated environment.
So siguro the keyword is permission pa rin. Just what Jesus said. That guy had to issue a public apology to settle the case.
Yeah. That's he's lucky that's all he got away with. It's like, like, I mean, I don't know all the details on it, but it's like...
And basically that's it.
But but like I said, it's like, I'm not... trust me, it's like if you catch me at 3 o'clock in the morning jiggling your doorknob, I'm going to say sorry. My bad. It's like, it's like...
That type of behavior creates a presumption of guilt.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like everybody's innocent until proven guilty, but that's still sketchy. It's like...
That's right. Okay, probably.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.